I've got the pieces prepped for everything except the last. I wanted to show you what I was doing for these pieces here. I've got a little tiny piece of brass tubing in between these two. And I'm just soldering it together. And then I have to put wire around the outside of it. Now I put wire around the outside edges that are going to be not in contact with the rest of the star. And I'm doing this because I want a better joint where the four pieces go together on each side of the star. So instead of, I've seen some folks do spinners where they don't really get a good bead or connection with pieces that hook up like that. Okay, I don't want to have a solder star joint on there. So what I'm doing here is what I've already done on everything. The exposed edges get wired around the edge. And something else that I've noticed people talk about, well, they're soldering and the foil seems to be lifting a little bit. And what I think a lot of folks don't seem to understand is that copper foil is a metal, and when you apply heat, it expands. It can't help it. So when you apply heat to copper foil, it'll expand, and sometimes it'll lift off, because the adhesive on the copper foil, its job is to keep it on there until it's soldered. Once it's soldered, it's really done its job. So, and if it does lift up, then you need to go and smooth it back down again. Very simple. Okay? I'm putting wire around these, and I put wire around everything, freeform, especially with these stars, because when I put the other side on, if I'm doing any pressing down on it, copper foil is just a tissue. It can tear off the glass very easily because it's just a tissue. As it's been said many times before, it's not meant to be load bearing. And when I put these things together, pressing down on it in any way, shape, or form is a load. Plus, like I've said before many times, I want, when I'm cleaning, and that's the other thing, if your foil lifts up and you give something a vigorous cleaning, you can knock it off the edge. Very simple. Alright, so I don't really want that to happen. 10, 20, 30 years down the road, I don't want the client to be cleaning this tree topper and have the foil peel off the edges because I didn't have a decent bead on it. And again, copper foil just being a tissue, and you coat it with a metal that's easily bendable, which is tin and lead. Which can also peel and come off. So now I didn't solder the back sides. I will do that when I get everything put together. There's reasons for that, at least for me. The bead and everything else can get in the way. So just doing this because it's a little bit easier for me anyway. It's a little more prep time. It's a little more prep time, I understand that, but when I made these maybe 15, 20 years ago, I didn't do the wire around it, and I put wire around it afterwards, and that was a real pain in the ass. So this video is basically for basic assembly. Okay, I got that piece, that piece, that piece, that piece, and so I want it halfway smooth here where it's going together. Okay, so I have this one, and I'm putting it together this way. Okay. So, just tin that real quick. tinning is just putting a thin coating, not a bead, just a coating. Okay. So this one goes on here, just like this. Okay. I'm just tacking it in there. Okay. That's tack. This one's tacked. Okay. And then I've got these. Same thing. See this in the camera or not, but this is what's happening. Tack it here. Okay. Tack it here. I didn't put a bead on this because I didn't want the bead to get in the way of everything else. And you're saying, well, if I coat this, it drips off on the side. So I'm just tinning, just wiping it on there, almost like painting it on. Okay. And again, because I will solder here and here and here and everywhere else. Okay, that's why I put that pipe in there, because I want solder. I want solder to flow on that inside joint. Okay. You want a good solid seam coating on it. It's going to flow down. Of course, when I solder the other side, it's going to. Okay. I want a good, solid seam soldered right there. Okay. So now I can do the other side. Okay. And of course, no, I didn't put any solder on the back side because I wanted it to stay one solid, flat surface. And I'm just tinning this. And I'll go back and do everything else. Now, again, tacking. Okay, I'm not tacking in the middle because I don't want solder in there to mess with my joint. This one. again, same thing. I didn't want my solder to mess with my joint there. Tack together. So that's it, tack together. Of course, I still have to run solder on the sides where it doesn't. I still have to put a bead on all of these edges. I'm not going to waste your time by doing that. But that's basic assembly. When I make the little apparatus so that this can go on the tree, I'll do another video. But for now, this is kind of it. This is basic assembly. Alright, doesn't look too bad. Yep, doesn't look too bad. Thank you. God bless. Shut it off.